welcome to Curiousaholic. My name's Evan, and I'm here with my favorite piano player, Heiko.
Hello, beautiful people.
So before we get into today's topic, here's a quick rundown on how the podcast works. So each episode, one of us chooses a topic they're curious about and reveals it live to the other person in the hopes to spark a deep discussion and to further our knowledge of the world around us.
I'm connecting with the skies, Evan.
Can you feel the intergalactical demons?
Yes, I can.
We have gotten in touch with them.
We have. For those who are just listening to us, Evan made us wear tinfoil hats.
Yeah. This is actually not the first time we wear tinfoil hats, but we never released that episode because it was like an episode that we recorded with our old podcast name. But we wanted to revive the old tradition and wear hats today.
Yeah, maybe one day we'll release that episode as a special.
Yeah, we have to. That was
from our early days when we begun. But yeah,
it was a classic episode. Let's be honest.
It was.
I'm not going to reveal the title of that one, but let's get back to what we're going to talk about today.
Yes.
So, I told you that today is going to be a spooky mood. It's going to be kind of, similar to what we discussed about like the afterlife, immortality, and hopefully with this episode we'll end up on the dark web again.
Yeah, apparently our episodes are being put on some shady websites.
Don't look at those websites, people. Anyways, so so do you have any guess of what this topic could be about?
I mean, you have a lab coat on as well, for those who can't watch us.
The lab coat is not completely relevant. I just felt like wearing it.
You look like a Rick from Rick and Morty, for real.
Yeah.
Honestly, I have no clue.
Okay.
This is some conspiracy-related stuff. I mean, we're wearing tinfoil hats.
It could be related to conspiracies, but it's not entirely related to that.
No.
Some people could deem it as like a conspiracy, but it's something that people experience kind of on not a daily basis, but pretty often kind of thing.
Oh, okay.
A lot of different, sightings and experiences that people witness all the time.
UFO sightings?
No, you're close. Okay, so let's go for the big reveal. So today's episode is going to be about the paranormal.
Yo, what the frick?
I knew I was going to scare you with that.
Wow, okay, that is a really scary image you put there.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm not going to look at the screen.
It had to wake you up a little bit for this episode.
Yo, that is looking down deep into my soul. Jesus, where did you find that?
I don't know. I saw it. I was like, that's perfect for today's episode.
Okay, let's
go on, huh?
Yeah.
So today's episode is going to be the paranormal.
Oh, interesting.
So
this is
does that remind you of the afterlife, immortality, kind of,
yeah. I mean, it's sort of related.
Yeah.
People can think of, dead relatives coming back or ghosts or whatever, all that jazz.
It's going to be a spin-off of that one.
Spooky.
Yeah.
Very.
Because I was inspired to talk about this, right? Because we're in the fall season, and what comes in the fall? Halloween.
I see.
So that was my inspiration for this episode.
I see.
Since it's approaching at
maybe it would have been fun, to do it right on,
It would have, but
that's all right. Early
Halloween present for everyone. So yeah.
So is it going to be trick or treat?
That's a good question. It's going to be a treat, that's for sure.
It's going to be a treat? That picture was not.
Exactly. It was already... What was that, a trick or a treat?
It was I don't know, I guess a trick. Yeah.
Okay, it was a trick.
Tricked me into being scared.
Yeah, so that was my inspiration for the topic. I'm having some technical difficulties here with the thing that changes my slides, but here we go.
Right.
So today's episode is going to be about paranormal, just because like we said, we talked about those episodes quite a bit, and I found they were really good discussions. We got into some deep conversations about all kinds of different religions and different ways of thinking about these topics, and I thought I want to give my take on this as well. So
Cool.
let's get into it.
Let's do it.
So, do you believe in paranormal sightings? And if so, why do they happen? Question for you.
I mean, so far with like the empirical data that we have with science and all that and what we can measure, I don't really believe in paranormal sightings. What people might see or hear, and think they are paranormal is just phenomenons of, the real world that we're not able to fully understand or explain, because there's some weird stuff just in nature that happens that even science has trouble explaining. So just because you don't understand it doesn't necessarily mean it's paranormal.
So you think that science manifests itself in a certain way and we just don't understand what it's doing?
I'm just saying that the answer isn't automatically, it's some paranormal thing.
Yeah. I agree, but sometimes like looking at certain like paranormal events that are like even recorded on camera, you try to think of any scientific reasoning and it just doesn't come to you. You're just like, how is that even possible? And like today I brought a couple of those clips and we're going to try to understand them.
I'm excited.
But it doesn't add up in my head. It's so weird.
Okay, so we're going to try to deconstruct,
dissect a couple of them, kind of look at some historical paranormal events as well, and where it all begun, kind of thing. But yeah, so what you're thinking is paranormal sightings don't necessarily exist, and it's all based on science, or do you think there could be an element of like supernatural in there? What do you think? So you're still stuck on the scientific based point of view, right?
I'm like, when it comes to paranormal or supernatural or anything that's kind of like outside of the scope of what we understand, I'm pretty skeptical.
Okay.
Very like on the skeptical side, because I'm like, a lot of the times they can be explained and it's just we just haven't gotten there yet.
Okay. It's funny because my background is in science, right? Engineering. And like even with someone with a scientific background, I still don't think science can explain all of it. It's crazy. So we have a little, maybe after today's podcast, you're going to have a different point of view.
Maybe. I'm not saying like for sure there's nothing paranormal that can exist, but I'm just skeptical.
Yeah, no, but to be honest, I am as well. But like I said, sometimes you look at these clips and you're like, unless there's like a video editing going on that you're not aware of.
Yeah.
But, if these, let's say, YouTubers that post these sightings are legit and,
and they're verified,
and they're recognized and verified, and what is shown on their recordings is real, you start asking some serious questions.
I mean, hope it's not scenes from the paranormal movies.
No, it's not. Yeah, we're gonna get into it later. I don't want to spoil it, but it's pretty crazy. Anyways,
let's do it.
So let's continue on. So let's just start by giving some, like history and thinking back on when did people start realizing that maybe something supernatural was going on in their lives or whatnot. So yeah, basically paranormal sightings have been going on for, centuries, right? Mm-hmm. Do you think that people became more aware of them as time went on, or do you think they've been there forever? What do you think?
I think they've been there forever, really.
Yeah, I think so too.
I would say maybe more so back in the day than now, because now we have more science that explains more things. Back in the day, just, the mere sky roaring with thunder was, oh my goodness, what is this? We don't understand the reason behind it. It must be some divine,
True, that's a good point.
Right.
I was actually looking at it the other way around. I was like, maybe nowadays that like we're so in tune with all these like possibility of like aliens and whatever.
Yeah.
People are more like in tune at recognizing some paranormal activity. But now that you mention it, like since we were less educated back then, it just makes more sense that they would, be tempted to believe this type of thing.
Yeah. That's
So
how
I
see
agree.
it.
I didn't look at it that way for a second, but that makes more sense.
Yeah.
Which is kind of the logical way of looking at it now that I think about it again.
Like, yeah, we still do. There are still people nowadays that do say, "Oh my God, I saw this or I heard this." But I would think back then, just more generally speaking, anything in nature was kind of seen, unexplainable and bizarre to them.
But also, maybe going back on my point is maybe nowadays too that we have more technology to verify this type of thing. When something like this does happen, and then we have it on camera, does that make us believe it more or less? Because back then they didn't have cameras to verify, so maybe they heard
question.
this. They heard this bozo talking about, I saw this crazy ghost last night or something. Everyone's like, what is this guy talking about?
Nah, shut up,
But now that we have it on camera, like, this door slammed. Like, what the heck? Why did it slam? Now that we have it on camera, maybe people would be tempted to believe it more.
I guess yes and no. I think people are also very skeptical.
Exactly.
Because nowadays, right, so many things can be faked and staged as well. Like nowadays with just video in general, like so much can be fake. So until a video can be verified as original, untouched, unaltered, then we can try to be like, okay, so this is like completely untouched and this door just moved by itself. How can we explain this?
Exactly.
That's when we get into it.
Yeah. That's when you start asking questions, like I said, right? Like if the source is verified, if the person didn't modify their video or anything, and you look at it a million times and you still don't get how, then
you start saying,
okay, what the hell is going on here?
Exactly.
And you could have even like testimonies from these people, testimonials, and like these people actually like talk about their experiences, and just by their fear and like what they talk about, it sounds like it's a real thing that happened to them,
True.
Yeah. So I think paranormal activity has been going on for years, and people have never quite understood it, and we still don't. Probably more so back then, how you mention it, than now.
That's what I think.
Because they were super in tune with like religion and divine power and kind of thing. So yeah, before probably more than now.
Yep.
Yeah, good point. So let's look at the first ever documented paranormal sighting. So apparently one of the first ones that it's a pretty famous one is in the 1st century AD, this great Roman author called Pliny, which is funny because Pliny's actually a name of a guitarist nowadays. But anyways, that's another story.
Pliny. I've never heard of him.
Well, yeah, he was like a famous author back in like the 1st century, so it was a freaking long time ago. Okay. And he was one of the first ones that documented like a supernatural like occurrence. So what happened is like he kept seeing this specter figure walking around his house in Athens. And he was like, man, what the heck is this? And he started writing about it. Okay. And this turned out to be one of the most like famous stories, just like of a sighting from way back then. This is 1st century AD, so it's like quite a long time ago, right?
Yeah, that's very...
Think about that. So, the like you said, I think these things have been going on forever, and I don't think they're ever going to stop.
No, I don't think so. But that's an interesting sighting. The specter, as in like
a figure.
Like a figure.
Yeah.
Okay.
So he kept seeing a figure in his house, and he was like writing it down. Like, what is this? And then he kind of
pretty creepy.
Published his story.
Okay.
And it was found, I guess, years later, and then people kind of recall that story. So that was one of the first ones. So now we could even look at different types of examples. See that? I'm just trying to scare you the whole time.
I mean, that's not really scary.
Oh, okay. Maybe after I tell you the story of this woman, you might be scared a little bit.
Maybe.
Okay, so here's another example of supernatural sightings from way back then. So Anne Boleyn, the second wife of King Henry VIII and mother of Queen Elizabeth I, was executed at the Tower of London in May of 1536 after being accused of witchcraft, treason, incest, and adultery.
Dang.
Sightings of Boleyn's ghost have been reported at the Tower as well as in various other locations, including her childhood home, Hever Castle in Kent. So yeah, this lady apparently, hey, this is always apparently, okay? she would appear every single day at the day of her execution, like every year, in the tower that she was executed in.
Oh, like her ghost
Like
apparently.
apparently would appear.
Okay.
So this is one of the stories from back in like 1536, and to this day, people still recall this story, and it's weird. Like why? You know, like how?
Okay. I'm again skeptical of this, okay? So would someone you know, feel like the ghost of her her ghost is there if they didn't have a prior knowledge of
good
this
point.
story? Like if you took a random person and, you know, brought them to visit this tower, just, you know, hey, you want to visit this place, would they ever sense anything like that?
Yeah, it's a good point. If you didn't know, then you probably wouldn't be as attentive to what's going on, right?
Oh, okay, so you wouldn't pay attention to the ghost who's walking.
Well, no, but like you said, let's say you didn't have any knowledge. You just like, okay, let's say this stuff is actually happening.
Okay.
You just wouldn't see it because you wouldn't care. You didn't know that, like,
Okay, but you're saying that it might be happening, you're just not seeing it.
it could be both ways. It could be either it's happening or it's not.
Me, I'm thinking that people make this in their minds because they think of the stories they heard and all
Yeah.
that, you know.
Yeah, but that becomes true until you have it on camera, right?
Oh, well, yeah, that's the thing. We can discuss
Yeah.
once you show me some video.
I'm not. This is not one I'm going to show you. I'm going to show you other ones
Sure.
of like today. Like, there's this video that was posted like in 2021
Oh, really? Okay.
of like modern day sightings, and it's like this YouTube channel. That's like that's what they do. I can't remember the name. I think I have it written down later. But like they're like Ghostbusters. You like walk around and like people tell them.
Oh, okay, yeah. I think I've seen videos like that where they go into dark, abandoned
Yeah.
places and then they hear voices or something.
It's crazy though, because some of it is just like it makes no sense, and it's like what the heck? It's like right in front of my face.
And you're sure, you know, those things aren't staged or...
Well, probably not. I mean, if you think about why would they be staged though? For views?
For entertainment, yeah. I don't know. Sometimes...
Some people really care about this stuff, and I don't think they would necessarily go to the point of faking it. You know, if they fake it, well, screw them, they suck. And this podcast is kind of pointless, but
No, it's still...
yeah, it's still valid because
we want
because
a lot of different people still...
Yeah, people. That's the thing. They want to show people, that it is a possibility, and we still don't get everything of like nature, right? It's not entirely impossible. Like for example, we go back to like the afterlife.
Yeah.
I for one didn't believe really of like any of that stuff, but could it still be possible? It could be. I don't know. Could
In
this
some
stuff be
different form.
possible? Maybe.
Yeah, I mean, because we can only observe and measure so much
Exactly.
with our senses and the tools that we have. There can be other, you know, like worlds, if you will, in our current world that we're not seeing, that we're not feeling.
Like a
Other-
multi-dimensional.
yeah, sort of like energies, you know, people talk about when someone dies, but their energy doesn't die. It still kind of floats, and
There's so many theories.
a bit of mumbo jumbo, or, you know,
Like, I
it's
mean,
hard to...
there's just so much we understand of the physical world, right? There's just so much we see around us.
We're
But our universe is like almost infinite. There's so much we don't see. And when people talk about like, you know, aliens don't exist, well, do you really know that for sure?
Yeah, exactly. Someone saying they don't, you can't prove that.
But that's the thing. It's kind of like this too. Like, how do you know? How do you know 100% with factuality that they don't exist? You can't say that.
Yeah, which I'm not saying either. I'm just skeptical of it.
Yeah, no, but I am too. It's not like I believe 100% of it, but it's just still being objective enough to be like, okay, that's kind of weird. you know?
Interesting to still, like, you know,
Like,
ponder about
like
it.
look twice, you know, like, oh, okay, weird.
Be curious.
Yeah, be curious about it. So yeah, this is just an example. Like, I'm not attributing any value really to this story, but this is just like some tale that people talk about, and they still think it's a true like occurrence every year. This lady Anne is seen at like the place where she was executed. Hey, if that actually happens, I'd be interested to see that for real.
Yeah. Gonna go visit this. It's in London.
Yeah, let's go visit it. Let's take a trip to the tower where she was executed. Yeah, not a good sight.
I don't know.
Yeah, so okay. Let's say this was let's just, be objective and think that this is a possibility, okay? So let's say this was a possibility. Okay. Do actions in a person's life act as like a catalyst for paranormal activity? So think about what she was convicted for, right? She was convicted for witchcraft, adultery, treason, and I think
Incest.
Incest. That's the other one, which is kind of the same thing as adultery,
Okay.
but more or less. So, do you think those things, like those acts, would that be a catalyst for someone to like have part of them live on after?
I mean, that's a tough question. I don't know. It's
Yeah, but think about
difficult to say.
Why is it that always
It's a bad
it's
stuff.
a bad motherfucker that ends up being a freaking ghost after?
Yeah, true. But that's a good point. Doesn't that explain more about us, the people who are alive, who experience these paranormal activities? We always experienced, of those people that had a dark past.
Yeah. Is it
that's
because we're scared of them as people?
Well, yeah, I mean, yeah, they're just creepy, it's
Yeah.
haunting, it's spooky, or different,
Yeah.
negative emotions. Yeah, because I've never heard like a story where, oh, in this house there was a happy family,
There was a happy little
that
girl.
lived together, and the grandparents, they passed away peacefully, and then I went into the house and I saw the grandma making an apple pie. No, it's always
Exactly.
like I saw her walking in the hallway, and then sitting in the
hung.
toilet bowl.
She was hung from the ceiling.
Yeah,
And
she was just hanging there, It's always a creepy story.
It's always some creepy story that like that ends up bad, and then that person ends up being a ghost. Like,
So doesn't that say more about what we want to see, or what we kind of?
it's our perception.
It's our perception. Yeah, it speaks more of our perception than what objectively is happening. That's why I'm skeptical.
Okay, so let's say that that it is our perception.
Yeah.
And maybe that's where like we're seeing, we're still seeing that evil like live on kind of thing, right? But let's say the person wasn't really evil, but we were the evil ones, or the people that like let's say this girl Anne,
Yeah,
right?
that she
got hung or whatever,
executed.
Let's say she was executed for the wrong reason.
Yeah, and a lot of times that's the case where someone was wrongly convicted.
Exactly.
And then
They
they
come for
haunt.
revenge.
Yeah, exactly. but that's the thing. Again, doesn't that speak more of our own psyche, that we feel guilt possibly towards
Them.
what we had them endure, and then we're like, is he behind me?
Exactly.
Is he gonna come
He's
after
gonna come at me with
oh, why did we execute this person for no reason? And yeah, I think it speaks a lot of human psychology here, and
yeah,
it's
it
interesting.
does.
Yeah.
And like I said, we're never gonna know if like these spirits really exist or not. But it's interesting to think about why we maybe perceive them. Like why we see them, maybe just because either, like you said, we feel guilt or we're just scared, right?
I think it's those two.
Those two things
Yeah.
make that like I said, like a catalyst. That's what maybe creates the illusion.
Yeah, I think so. So in that case, that could explain
Yeah,
why we perceive them more.
exactly.
Like
It could be two things, right? Either, like I said, either they do really exist, or these things just make our imagination even more wild, and we just see things that we're not supposed to be seeing, right?
yeah.
So
I think it
That's,
might play a role.
yeah, it does, I think. And like you said, it's always like the bad person.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
You know, I read something about this. You know who Al Capone is?
Yeah.
Okay, he was one of the first like inmates at like Alcatraz,
Okay.
like the famous prison in the U.S. And apparently he was like, apparently a lot of people hear him like walking around and like saying to like giving order to other prisoners and stuff like that. just because he was Al Capone and he had like power and stuff, and he
was
one of the first inmates and whatever.
Okay.
And now apparently his ghost lives in Alcatraz. You know, just because it was Al Capone.
And yeah, it was a very famous figure and gangster from back in the day. I mean, yeah, because his story, he was there, so it possibly influences what you perceive.
Exactly.
So that's what I think.
Yeah, so we looked at some of the catalysts, and now, let's look at some current sightings of 2021.
All right, let's do it.
Let's do it. All right, so you could play the video. You could jump to like 2 minutes and 6 seconds so you could look at the first clip. It's all in one video. Yeah,
so you want me to jump in?
Yeah, so this is, just to give a bit of context, like I said, this was the YouTube channel I was like alluding to earlier with, these basically three guys that kind of go into houses and to different like quote unquote like haunted areas that people tell them to go there. Hey, I've seen this. I want you to validate it. And then they go.
Okay.
And they check out this crazy stuff.
One of those. So they have like some, a lot of times some of these people have those tools that start beeping. They have a bunch something.
Of that, yeah. Beep, 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 beep. Yeah. In one of them, they were... Okay, no, I'm going to keep that for later because it's one of the clips we're going to look at. But yeah, you could jump to 2 minutes and 6 seconds.
Okay.
During the night, while members of the team are sleeping, Colton is awoken to the sound of a phone
they're in this house
from within his room.
And this is footage that they captured this year. So this guy gets woken up by a phone ringing.
As he wakes up to check,
so
Tanner
ring,
and Casey are woken to a knocking sound upstairs.
And upstairs, his friends, they hear like knocking, and they're like, okay, what's knocking? So this guy goes to check the phone that's ringing. He answers the phone.
Okay.
As Colton checks the phone,
check what happens right after.
Strangely, there is no phone cable connected.
The cable's not connected with the phone, so it's just ringing.
I saw that the phone was unplugged. There was no telephone cord leading to it. There was no outlet that
so he's freaking out. He's like, what?
Into.
And then this happens.
Yo, Cole.
Yo, Casey.
Yeah. Casey, and then, yeah.
What the dude?
And then right after the phone rings, this door, like on camera, is just swinging by itself.
Dude.
Like how is that normal?
What would you do in this situation?
I mean,
continue filming.
Replay.
It's a replay. I love how they put this like sound effect in the back. It's so funny.
It's making it sound so dramatic.
All right, you can skip to the next time. You could go back to mine.
Oh, should we discuss?
Yeah. Sorry, before that, let's discuss what we just saw. So, what's your logical, scientific-based explanation that a phone is ringing without it being plugged? I have a suggestion.
Okay, but like I said, I'm first skeptical of the video.
I mean, okay, one good way to check if a video is legit is usually checking the comments. Read the comments. I know it's not like foolproof, but still, let's just look at the comments. Everyone, look at the video, like to dislike.
People liking it, yeah, I see.
Yeah.
Okay.
Usually, like that's a good sign that it's pretty legit. I don't think it's fake, honestly. It looks super real. That's what's crazy. Yeah, that's whatever. One guy saying that there's too much music.
Okay.
Yeah, a bunch of comments saying like, I don't understand how this is possible. Like it's insane.
Why would a ghost open doors?
Yeah, it's like whatever.
Sure, that defeats okay.
Like the
whole point of being a ghost.
Yeah, a lot of funny comments, but also
nobody's suspicious at all about how much more paranormal activity.
Okay, well that's actually a hate comment, so you might be right. But who knows? Like I said,
well, I guess maybe some people might be like, "What the hell?" They're skeptical.
It's still pretty crazy.
I mean, look, like I'm saying, okay. So first off, okay, before we can even discuss anything, is knowing the legitimacy of the video and how if it's real, because it is a YouTube channel, right? But I don't know, is this a YouTube channel that like compiles I guess different.
This is one team, and this is kind of like what they saw at different occasions, and they put it in one video.
Okay, so it's a channel that specifically specializes in doing those investigations. So yeah, first thing, if it is legit, let's assume that. I mean, yeah, it's hard to explain. Like the phone being unplugged. Yeah,
the only other explanation I could think of is if one of them had like a cell phone, and it was ringing, and like maybe the other guy heard it from the upstairs, and he thought it was like the plugged in phone, like the the home phone.
But and who has a freaking rotary phone?
But that's the thing. It's like these old houses, and they go in there like random places.
That's also just. I was like, wait, what?
Yeah,
what kind of phone
but it's
is
still
that?
freaky though. Like, imagine being woken up like that, and you're just like, what? Why is there?
And then there was a knock apparently
at the same time, like upstairs.
Upstairs.
But that's not even the freakier part. I think it's the phone is the freakiest part.
Yeah, the door part though, that could be maybe wind related, or maybe it was slightly left open and then it like just went back on its. But then
it's always the wind.
Well, that's what I'm saying. It's just so. I don't know.
It's hard to explain.
I think maybe what needs to be done is to have like a haunted place. You know, people who say there's so many sightings here, there's a lot of paranormal activity. Okay, like a bunch of cameras set up, a bunch of scientists, you know, surrounding the area, and just watching, observing.
Yeah, but that's that's kind of what they do though. They're specialized in that.
Yeah, but I don't know how much I trust the.
Yeah, I know. But the thing is that it's hard. There's two possibilities. Either they're faking it with camera tricks, or they're not. And if they're not, then how the hell do you explain it? You can't, right? It's on camera.
Yeah. From what I'm able to observe in the videos, I can't.
Unexplainable.
It's hard.
You can't.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was the phone trick. So trick or treat so far.
Oh, I don't know. I mean. Pretty trick. Yeah, getting tricked here.
Yeah. So
going back to the slide, or
just go back to the slide a sec.
Okay.
All right. So let's jump to 1954.
Same video.
Same video.
All right. Let's see here. 1954.
Like I said, none of these are verifiable. I was just browsing on the internet and seeing if we could see with our own eyes something supernatural, because clearly we're never gonna get the chance. I mean, hopefully not, or maybe hopefully, you know, depending on how you look at it. But yeah, I just wanted to see with my own eyes what other people see, and some of it is pretty crazy. Anyways, let's do this one. So this one, to give you a bit of context, is
when I woke
this lady.
Up,
she kept reporting that there was scratching
even more
at places in her houses.
The guys heard it too.
Yeah,
it sounded almost like a wrecking ball.
This thing made a noise, so they check outside what happened.
When they investigate what made the
on
noise,
the roof, because they thought it was like a wrecking ball
rushes
hitting
over
roof.
the team.
So they check the roof. What's going on? At first, they can't really see much, and then all of a sudden, you hear scratching. I just heard it.
Yeah, you heard that, right?
Scratching can be heard, and they notice a window
that
suddenly
gets
opens on the roof.
That's weird.
Hold on.
Because you saw it like a second ago. It wasn't open.
What's up with that?
Replay.
Yeah.
Okay, it was closed.
It was closed.
Yeah.
Hey, wait.
The only sketch part is that they don't film it opening.
Okay, yeah, well, they miss it.
They miss it.
Oh, okay, well,
But you kind of see it open right there.
Over, yeah.
Yeah.
And then it goes
And
back
then it
to
goes
the
back
window.
and like
Yeah, you heard that, right?
it kind of focuses on the window, and then it's completely open.
Imagine there's a figure that's like standing
Yeah,
there.
they're gonna see it's freaky. What happens? They go to see what there is.
What's up with
They
that?
check the hallway.
The scariest part of all, when they check the hallway to the window,
kicked
it
in.
appears
The screen
as
is
if the
completely kicked
screen
in.
was kicked in.
Like, how do you explain that?
Meaning
That can't be
something
wind.
Must have
There
been
wasn't a
coming
hurricane
inside
outside, you know? Like,
rather
what?
than going out.
Like, this doesn't seem fake. It just seems like completely.
Look at that.
It's weird. I don't get it.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, it's getting creepy. I'm telling you, the last one is so creepy. You're gonna like shit your pants. I'm telling you.
Okay.
So what are your thoughts? Like, how do you explain that? Other than camera tricks, you can't. Gravitational forces or something. Like, it makes no sense.
Okay, well, the only thing it could explain, because I saw like the screen was at the end of like a staircase that had fallen down a staircase, and the window was just on
Above.
top of the staircase. So what I think is maybe that screen was possibly set in loose,
Yeah.
and maybe wind again
Yeah, I know. But that's the thing is like, okay,
pushed it.
It
and then
pushed it. Yeah, of
fell.
course. No, I get that. But what pushed it in the first place? Can't be wind. There wasn't like they were outside. There wasn't a freaking hurricane outside.
No, I know. Yeah, but wind, it doesn't have to be a freaking hurricane. It could just be, a slight wind gust that, and then.
Yeah, seems unlikely that.
It is very strange.
Yeah.
It is pretty. But that's saying that if it was not put in well,
No,
which
no,
is
definitely.
kind of.
Yeah, that's the only logical explanation.
Yeah.
But
Which
even
I think
at
most
that is like
screens-
probably unlikely. Like
Yeah.
what? It doesn't add up. The only other thing is like if there was any camera tricks, or if there was a person that did it and this is all fake.
Yeah, no, this isn't like camera tricks. Like if it's staged, it's most probably because somebody is doing it.
Exactly.
I mean, they're cutting the video. I mean, they could just set it up and then go and
Yeah,
film it.
but that's the thing. It's that if they were staged, it'd be hard to stage it because so many people watch this stuff. Like that guy, like Chris Angel, he was staging all this shit.
Yeah.
People believed it for a while, and then everyone realized it was all fake.
I don't know. Maybe they still haven't found out this channel.
Yeah, I guess. But
Nonetheless,
I'm going to
it's-
give him the benefit of the doubt and say
Exactly,
that it's
yeah.
probably real, like what you're seeing right now. And because I don't want to put these guys on the spot, whoever made this video, it seems realistic. Because we even saw like he was like moving the camera like this outside, and then like in the shot that wasn't aimed with the light, you kind of saw the window opening. Like when it wasn't perfectly in line with the
Yeah,
camera.
but you know what? Maybe I would have liked seeing videos where, like, more amateur.
Yeah. Well, we could look at them if you want, but
Because this is like, these people are like, set up to do this kind of thing.
Yeah.
I would like to see more random, like, someone in their house who films it, or it's caught on CCTV. It's a bit more believable.
It's kind of funny that you mentioned that. The guy, Mr. Beast?
Yeah.
Okay, one of his like ex-colleagues, I can't remember his name. I think it's Viking or something. Like I don't remember his name.
Yeah. Like a bigger dude,
Bigger
I
dude
think,
with a beard.
Yeah.
He started his own like paranormal channel, and he's like pretty amateurish. And I've seen
Okay.
some of his videos, and it's like this. It's like
Oh, yeah?
creepy
Okay.
stuff. Like the camera's like all wobbly, but you still see things flying around, and like
Well, it's kind of the vibe they go with.
Yeah.
They don't put their cameras on tripods or anything. It's always like handheld, shaky.
But yeah, like you said, it's true. Like maybe amateurish videos could show more like another side
I
to
would
it.
tend
but
to believe them a bit more because if it's just once that this person filmed something, it's most probably because they heard it and they wanted to film it. But someone who has a channel specifically for this, because think about it, like if you want to put out content.
yeah, it's true. No, I'm saying like I'm not
yeah.
giving them 100% benefit of the doubt, but like
But like if
There
it
is a
is,
possibility.
true that they caught this on camera and really
props because that's crazy.
It is pretty freaky.
Honestly, they have besides the fact that who knows if this is 100% real,
Yeah.
they have balls to go into freaking
Dude,
places like that.
that is for sure. Like even to fake this, like
you have even to fake it, you still have
It's
to go to this
scary.
place. It's just scary.
like filming stuff at night, even is just
Yeah. When
Creepy.
someone tells you, yeah, this house is apparently haunted, all right, let's go there and fake a
yeah,
video.
that's the thing.
But
Just-
still, it's scary.
Just because in the back of your mind, oh my god, this place is haunted, you just freak yourself out.
Exactly. So, yeah, let's take a look at the last one. This is you could play it from where we left off right there. Yeah.
Okay, so this is the number one.
This is the number one free. Apparently, this clip went viral, like all over the internet when it happened.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
2158. Okay.
Number 1.
This one you're not going
It's
to get.
got me.
Unless it's
The
fake, of
number
course.
one video on this list has been circulating top fives across the internet.
Top 5.
The team investigates a hunting lodge where a horrible accident
So
has
this is in a
occurred.
hunting lodge.
While it seems there
somewhere
is
in the
not
US.
much activity to investigate going
horrible
on in the
accident
lodge,
happened.
Yeah.
everything changes as they are walking into the basement.
So this guy falls.
On our way down to the basement for the yes/no test, I would say I tripped, but it didn't feel like I tripped. I fell, and it felt like my legs, like my lower
So
legs.
he felt
got
that someone
hooked,
was pulling on his legs and he
got my
kind of
feet ripped
tripped.
out from under me.
Tanner claims
Okay.
something pulled his
So-
feet out
Okay.
from under him.
Could be from his head, right? That's what I thought
As
too.
he's trying to comprehend
take a look at
what
this now.
just happened, this happens.
So he falls again. Oh, he's on the floor, but check this.
Fuck off.
Get outta here.
Get out. Okay.
I don't get it. That
There
is.
is no way to
and then they run
describe
after
the
him, and there's
feeling of
nothing.
Witnessing events like these, but at least it was
Absolutely
all
insane.
caught
When
on
I saw
film.
that, I have goosebumps right now looking at it. It's fucking crazy.
I mean, yeah, that is
What
like
is
straight up
that?
out of a horror movie.
What is that? It looked like something from a horror movie.
Well, yeah, like usually you
It's-
see that in a horror movie where somebody gets pulled
Yeah.
quickly and
The clip is called something like "He's Got Me" or something. Like, there's nothing. Like, what? How does that add up? It doesn't make sense. That's not the wind, right?
No, it's not.
There's no
There
wind
was
there.
a wind gust that pushed
Yeah.
him back.
Oh my god, it's so creepy.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's the thing. So
That-
there's one explanation. There was a guy pulling.
Yeah, well, that's the thing.
That-
Always the faking
Yeah.
is always there. But if not,
Then what the fuck? There's no like. What other explanation could there be? There's none. Well, there's a mini black hole in the freaking house that you know, like
black hole.
it doesn't add up. You know, it doesn't seem probable.
But the thing is that what happened there was just almost like too good to be true as well, sort of like.
Yeah, that's the thing.
It's such a classic sort of cliche, thing that happens in a horror movie that you like, really?
you look twice. Then again,
But it does make you think, like,
I don't know. I want to believe it. I kind of hope it is fake because if that's not fake, then oh my god,
Then
we better
whole-
watch out for ghosts because
Yeah,
holy
exactly.
crap,
What
that
else
was
are they
fucking
doing?
scary. Like wow, I don't know. That's the thing. Like you were skeptical at the beginning, and now you're looking at these, and you're like, what? How? Like it's really creepy. Like I don't know. I don't get it. I have goosebumps right now just thinking about that because
so these were cited this year?
this year,
Huh.
2021.
Okay.
I think the video was released in February, so early on in the year. But
Okay. I mean, it is crazy. The grab is the most crazy.
Yeah.
Like the other ones, I could sort of explain somehow.
yeah, you could maybe get like an explanation.
Yeah, but the grab one, unless there was somebody who pulled him.
But also, I don't know
Okay.
I don't know if you think about it, but the speed.
Yeah, the
That-
speed
that
at which
he
he
got
got
pulled.
pulled, it was insane.
It seemed very unlikely that it was a human that did that. Unless it was like freaking Eddie Hall or something, you know, pulling him or whatever. Get over here.
Yeah, my mind is starting to like go into crazy territory, saying like
Let's do it, let's hear
maybe he was walking, and then his foot got tied up by some wire or something,
Okay.
and then
The
I don't know, maybe
force.
that wire. No, but because at first he was walking, and then he falls, boom,
Yeah, and then
he gets pulled.
That's the thing. There wouldn't be enough momentum for whatever he got caught in to pull him. It would
Yeah,
stay
that's the
stuck.
thing. Yeah, it
and
would
then
stay-
He would just stay still.
Because I was gonna say, oh, was it maybe something where it was a pulley system that automatically
Yeah,
started pulling?
but then, that probably means
it's
it would
been
be
pretty
fake.
wacky too.
Yeah, but
Well, no. Yeah, it would be fake, as in it would disprove paranormal activity. But
no. But how would a pulley system be tied to a person by accident? It doesn't make sense.
no. Well, maybe he walked.
He randomly encountered a pulley system that pulled him. Oh, look at this forklift! And it fucking pulled him across the room.
No, I don't know. Like, but yeah, the fact that he falls first 1-2 seconds, and then he gets pulled.
Again, he gets pulled.
That's what's freaky.
Because I don't know if you noticed, if you look back, he falls, and then he's like, "What's going on?"
yeah,
And then he gets pulled.
you know. Imagine if he got pulled and he disappeared, then I would have been dead.
Then I would have been
If
scarred for life.
they would be looking for him and not finding him, yeah, that would be okay.
Yeah.
You know, like.
But that'd be too good to be true. But the fact that he just was lying there after, like, what?
Yeah.
Like, it's so weird.
I think I'm gonna like investigate that maybe a bit further on
Yeah,
my
that
own
one-
time.
yeah.
Because I'm very
I'm
curious.
curious to see what you find, because when I saw that one, I was freaking out. I was
Freaked
like,
you out, huh?
I was trying to figure it out, like we just did, over and over again. I was like, there has to be like,
I don't know. I'm gonna try to dig deep and find, you know,
yeah,
because
You never
if
know.
this was trending, then for sure people have investigated
That's
this
the thing.
further and try to figure out if
if it was fake.
yeah. So I'm gonna
Unless it's
try
a
that.
really good magic trick, I'm not too sure how they did it, but I don't know.
Science for sure cannot explain that one. That's for sure.
Yeah, it's freaking weird. Anyways, so yeah, we got over those
All right.
in one piece. Are you still your heart's still
Still-
beating?
yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
all right. So
Faster
yeah,
than usual, but
so are these events real? Yes or no?
I cannot say with certainty if they are. I think we kind of, you know,
Yeah.
discussed that more or less. That it's just hard.
We'll never know for sure. Some I would say are maybe more explainable than others. The last one, I still don't get how that's even possible. You know, it's
Yeah, the last one is just kind of very out there.
yeah. You don't see that every day. You know, it's just like you said, it's so like resemblant of what you would see in a horror movie.
Yeah, that's so sick.
The way he fell and the way he
Yeah.
got pulled.
yeah, and the way it was like cool. It's like, guys, what is that?
Yeah,
You know?
and the way that like the camera was going downstairs, and then they hear bang, and then they turn around,
Yeah.
and then they just see him there, and then they're like, what? And then he
gets
gets pulled.
Yeah,
And
but
the
then-
camera angle was like directly like in line
Onto
with his
it.
face, and it was like, what?
It's like almost like a movie for real, but
It seems like a movie scene. It almost seemed like a movie scene. It was just,
yeah. So yeah, we can't certainly say if it was real. I mean, that's
you were
that
never
is for
gonna
sure.
know. Yeah. Hopefully, one day we'll have more insight of how these things.
Well,
freaking
real
happen.
as in that it wasn't faked.
Real as in like, is it a
Is it a paranormal, or it can be
sighting?
explained by science?
Yeah,
as in
that's what I mean.
okay. Yeah.
It's,
Assuming that it's not staged again, that okay, is it either like a phenomenon that we can explain, or is it, you know, paranormal? Yeah, it's a really
Yeah,
tough
the
one.
line is fine there.
Very-
It's it's
Very
blurred.
difficult.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's hard to tell. I don't think we'll ever know.
yeah,
The guy that probably experiences is probably the only one that knows for real.
yeah. Like to ask him, to interrogate him, say, how did you feel it? Like, what was pulling onto you?
Yeah.
Was it some sort of
Yeah.
cable, or was it like a hand that grabbed you?
Exactly.
Was it just some force?
He said I don't know if you heard, but he said it felt like something grabbed my feet from underneath me and pulled me.
Oh, okay.
That's what he
Yeah,
said.
yeah.
Almost like someone was
Okay,
pulling
so
a trick,
someone- yeah.
playing a trick, and grabbing his ankles and pulled him. But I don't know.
Freaky.
I don't think it's a person that did that. I think it's something that we don't understand.
I think so too. Yeah.
So yeah, you kind of mentioned this a few times. Is there any scientific explanations to any of these? Maybe.
The last one is a bit hard to find any explanations, but the first, couple maybe.
possible. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's actually in that video again. I know I'm referring a lot to it. There's one video where they're doing like a Ouija board. Like, you know what a Ouija board is?
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, they were doing that activity, and at one point they said something, and one guy starts bleeding like profusely from his nose, like all over the Ouija board.
Okay, I think I've maybe seen it.
See,
yeah.
that's something that like is probably explainable by science. It's probably like, hey, the guy, like his pressure
something
changes
happened.
because he was scared, and then he started bleeding from his nose. Like, I don't believe
Yeah,
that.
you can't
You can't really correlate that to paranormal, but it's so weird. Like, it's scary. Like, imagine doing
just
that and the
freaky.
guy starts bleeding. You're like, what?
It's just scary, yeah, but it could be explained by other
Yeah.
psychological, physiological factors. But something that's like out of your control that happens, you get pulled, like, you know, in that video. That's when it gets
like, I don't think you could say that a coincidence is paranormal. Like, it was a coincidence that he was bleeding from his nose. I don't think that like a divine freaking thing, you know, made it happen that way. No. But
yeah, that's the thing. Just because something freaky happens during something else freaky doesn't mean they're both related.
Exactly. Yeah, you said it right.
Yeah.
So let's look at some scientific explanations. So the first one, you actually said it without realizing it. It's kind of like this ear to mouth experience. And look at that nice creepy picture that I chose for you right there.
Oh man, you have a lot of creepy pictures.
Yeah. So the first one is actually what you said. If you have like knowledge about something being haunted, then you're going to be more aware and in tune to that type of experience. So you actually said it.
The more you learn, the more you cite paranormal activities.
Yeah, exactly. So that's the thing. So they did there's this case study where I think there was a case study where they chose a group and they named like 5 haunted areas again, or supposedly haunted areas, and they told part of the group, hey, you're going to be going to visit these 5 areas and they're all haunted. Okay, so they sent those people in there, and other people in that same like control group, they said these 5 areas are not. They didn't even mention the word haunted. They just said
Just visiting.
no, they're under renovations. So you're gonna go to a place where, you know, it's gonna be a mess a bit. You know, it's not gonna be too clean because they're renovating the area. They're like, okay, so they send those people in there, the renovated group, and then the group that is gonna be scared to be haunted. The group that was told that it's haunted, they're the ones that saw the most paranormal activity, whereas the ones that said it was that thought it was just a renovated place almost experienced nothing, except a few of them.
Oh, okay.
So a few of them still said like, oh, they maybe saw weird things, but they didn't know it was like a paranormal experience.
Okay. Which is it explains quite a bit.
It explains quite a bit. So yeah, the ones that were informed that it was haunted are the ones that tend to see that, just because your brain is kind of ready to see anything. It's kind of like in that fight or flight response all the time, like, oh, I don't want to go there, I might see something, or oh, what's that thing, that shadow, or like it's always thinking too much.
Yeah, it's like set
on that idea,
on that.
Yeah, exactly. So that was a good point that you brought earlier, Ed. I didn't want to give you credit until I showed you this.
So without knowing, explain the first.
Exactly. Without knowing, get it?
Oh,
yeah.
Without preconceived
knowledge. So, sorry, I keep looking at my phone. I'm not actually texting or anything. It's because the thing that's changing the slide keeps turning off, so I kind of need to refresh all the time. Anyways, so the second one is actually
this one,
electromagnetic fields. It's probably heard before. So a lot of people say that variation in electrical activity kind of affects your temporal lobe in your brain, and that makes you more in tune with paranormal sightings and activity. So you're more tempted to see these types of things if there is a variation in like electrical activity in your brain.
Okay.
So I don't know if you're like too familiar with electric fields and stuff, but an electric field is caused by an object with a charge, and it kind of emits like the variation in charge creates like a field. Okay. And those fields we're receptive to them, we could be affected by them.
Okay.
So if there's a huge change in electric charge, then it could affect our brain. And that variation could make us more like susceptible to see like a supernatural activity. So that's
another explanation. Yeah.
And also kind of like on the same topic, there's this low frequency infrasound, which is basically like
I've heard about that one.
Yeah.
Like a really low rumble, like a low.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. Which you don't hear it, but you feel it.
Yeah, exactly. You got it. So I think there's an experiment that was also done with like music, like they were able to produce like a type of sound like that with like instruments.
Yeah.
And they asked like the audience how they felt.
Yeah.
And they said, "Oh, I felt kind of like uneasy when that happened, or like scared, or like sad."
Oh, okay.
So depending on that, that frequency that they played, it played with people's moods.
Well, I'm actually going to give an example because I've heard this from that. Apparently, there's this French movie in the early 2000s that released. It was like a thriller kind of movie. And throughout the movie, in the backtrack,
I know this
you've
story,
heard about
yeah.
this one? Yeah, it's like a low frequency rumble that's playing to create this uneasiness in the crowd.
And tension,
and apparently a lot of people started like panicking
And leaving, right?
and just
Yeah,
leaving the room.
I know the story.
You heard about that?
Yeah, that's
Just kind of crazy.
kind of crazy. Yeah, it's a good technique to scare the living crap out of people.
So it kind of shows how, things in our environment, the electromagnetic fields, the frequencies that we can't perceive consciously still do affect us subconsciously.
But right now, those don't affect me because I'm wearing a hat.
Yeah, exactly. We're canceling out
We're
anything.
canceling out all those
We're
frequencies.
completely objective.
Exactly. That's why I told us to wear hats.
Now I get it.
Yeah, that's the reason. Anyways, yeah. So the frequencies, electromagnetic frequencies, could play a role.
You're a smart scientist here.
Yeah, I am. I've taken classes about this in university, actually.
Oh yeah, I would imagine you're
Yeah,
aware of it.
I'm aware. Yeah. So that's the second scientific explanation that apparently could explain.
Isn't it also the reason like a lot of these paranormal catchers, I don't know what you call them, chasers.
Yeah.
Yeah, that they carry around that thing, the device that captures.
Yeah, they try
frequencies.
Yeah, and they measure heat.
Yeah.
Like variations and stuff. Because like
Exactly.
apparently if there's a spirit, there could be like a drastic change in
cold.
temperature.
For some reason.
Apparently. Actually, can we go back on something? Speaking of like those devices, the in that clip that we saw with the scratching.
Yeah.
So apparently, I saw like it was kind of just before the lady that lived in the house. She was like, "Oh, there's this spirit that keeps scratching on my walls," and you would see the marks on doors and stuff. Yeah, but apparently, like I saw in the video, they were walking around, and the lady apparently called the spirit in her house Scratch. That's the name she gave it. So the guys are walking up the stairs,
Yeah.
and on one of the radios, you just hear Scratch. Yeah,
On one of the radios, or
it just started
Saying
like it started saying Scratch,
like a male voice.
like a male voice, Scratch. Like what? How do you explain that? That again,
that's a
like
tough
it's hard. Like how do you explain that? I don't get it.
Is it maybe some radio channel like a connected?
Imagine that would be like what
a
are the chances of that?
coincidence. Yeah.
Like what are the freaking chances?
Well, maybe
of
some
that?
DJ scratch.
Yeah, imagine like, man, if that was a
But
coincidence, that would be the most like I don't know,
One in a trillion.
one in a trillion chances that happens. Like it's as if
Very
right
unlikely.
now, exactly. Right now we're talking about aliens or something, and then like my mic would start saying, ET or something, like
Some weird alien.
like some
sounds.
weird alien sounds or something. It doesn't make sense. But anyways, so yeah, sorry, I just went on a little tangent there, but yeah, back to our scientific explanation. So the last one, if my slide wants to work, yeah. So apparently another one is toxic hallucinations. This one's actually the most interesting I found.
Oh, okay.
So the first one is actually contact with toxic gas. So if you were in contact with carbon monoxide or whatever, it could lead you to
It
alters your brain chemistry,
yeah.
and you could have hallucinations. Okay,
Okay.
that makes sense. But what would be the chances that everyone's in contact with carbon monoxide all the time, right? It doesn't really make sense.
Well, I don't know if it's always in these freaking old haunted houses.
Yeah, that's the thing. So maybe there's an area around that's like not too clean and
Yeah,
emits a lot of
producing-
gas. It could be.
Yeah.
But the other thing that I found really interesting, which kind of makes sense, is some scientists actually found that some fungi could actually give those hallucinations as well. So you could just be like inhaling them, and like they're like the odors they emit, and their smell basically, and you could just be like get kind of like a hallucinogenic experience just from inhaling those toxic fumes. So if you think about it, you know, in these houses, right? What do they typically have? They're usually old.
Yeah.
They have poor ventilation.
Oh, yeah.
And they probably have fungus maybe in their ventilation. So you could be inhaling that and it could give you like this hallucination experience. And even to go even further, a lot of these houses usually have old books, right?
Yeah, true.
So just some like the moisture and, you know, from like the pages and
what they were made of.
exactly. Those could have fungus in them if they'd been there for years.
Yeah,
right?
true.
And
decomposing.
yeah, and maybe someone that's always in contact in that area, like always there. It could be that's what's causing it too.
It could affect them.
Yeah.
This is an interesting explanation. I
had never thought of that either.
Never heard
until
of
I
this
read
one.
it. I was like,
so you're
oh,
like
that's interesting.
unintentionally getting drugged.
Yeah, you're like high unintentionally.
Yeah.
Which is interesting.
You're like, why do I feel a bit woozy?
Exactly. So it's weird. It's
That's an interesting explanation, yeah. Possibly,
Possibly.
yeah, because we don't really see these paranormal activities in like modern, clean houses.
exactly. It's always in this shitty, you know, like ugly, not very clean areas.
abandoned place.
Yeah.
Classic. So
These old prisons, these old, you know,
Yeah.
hospitals, like, you know, kind of nasty stuff.
yeah, and usually where there isn't a lot of people as well.
Or cemeteries, right? Think about that. How many fungi could live there?
oh, plenty, I bet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just think about that, you know.
So that's a
Hey,
very
did
interesting.
you hear the knocking? Or you didn't hear that? Oh no. Okay. Sorry.
Let's not play with our audience.
Okay, yeah. So I think that kind of wraps it up. Those are all the points I wanted to bring.
Yeah.
So
So the explanation.
any final thoughts?
Final thoughts. Okay.
We went down the rabbit hole, did we?
Yeah, pretty deep. Yeah, like I said, I'm staying skeptical because first and foremost, like video recordings can be faked
Yeah.
and staged. So there's that aspect. That's a huge if it's fake, then forget it. Everything's nil. But if it's not, and we're assuming that they're real, then some sightings can potentially be explained by science, but others, like the guy getting pulled, like we said, is very out there. Just
Exactly.
know.
Honestly, I'm in the same stance as you. Like, I'm skeptical for a lot of these, but for those instances where you have to look at it a few times even to think of a possible reason, and you still can't find any possible reasons other than the video's fake. Then you start asking questions like, how is this happening?
yeah, like we're not still concluding that it is paranormal, even if we can explain it. Doesn't mean it is paranormal.
Yeah.
But makes you think twice and thinking like, is science able to explain everything? Will it ever be able to explain everything?
Probably not. That's the thing. Yeah.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. We don't know.
We don't know.
Even that we don't know. We don't know the future capabilities of science. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. It's a good point, right? So until we get those answers from science, we will never know. It's all speculation. It's all, this whole podcast was speculation, to be honest.
Yeah.
But it was just fun to,
No, it was. I love like
entertaining to look at these and just
going down these rabbit holes
Yeah.
and just figuring things out. And not everything in life needs an answer. That's the thing. It's the curiosity, right?
That's a good point. Yeah.
We bring this often, but
Some things are better off like unknown. And
yeah, just being curious eventually could lead you to an answer, but sometimes not.
yeah,
That's the world we inhabit.
exactly. So yeah, we won't know until science gives us better answers. And do you think like these paranormal sightings, supernatural experiences, are they like a warning to us about something? Could they be possibly warning you about danger, or why do they happen?
Warning to humanity, is that where?
Yeah.
Why do they happen? Yeah, I mean, Yeah, maybe it's a way to like shame us for the things we've done in the
Could be.
past.
Yeah.
Like we said, it's always the bad stuff that happened to people that come back to haunt us, you know.
Or
We're
the
not
bad we did to other people, right?
Well, yeah, a lot of times it's, executing someone wrongfully or killing them for no reason, murder and all that sort of thing. You're not going to get haunted by a grandma bringing you apple pie.
Yeah, exactly. So, yeah.
So, yeah, it's like, I don't know. Like, yeah, it's like, is paranormal only related to, the bad, the dark past? Or can it also be related to more positive things? You
Yeah.
don't really hear about those.
You don't really hear about that. So
that's also...
it's like,
So
why?
are they real?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the thing. So either it's a warning or it's our imagination. We'll never know. But still pretty weird.
Still fun to explore.
Like, even if it is our imagination, why? Why do we see it?
Yeah.
It's weird.
Well, that's a dive into human psychology and the reasons behind it. But like we said, maybe it's the fear that we have innately in us. We always, not that we seek the negative, but we are more perceptive for the negative.
Right. Yeah.
For our own survival.
Just one more little quick story before we end it. There's this area in Alabama, this small town. I can't recall the name exactly, but there's this story of like this ghostly figure that walks the streets at night, and everyone calls her Huggin Molly. So what apparently she does, she hugs people, okay, and she screams in their ears. So a lot of people actually report that in the city, and people actually don't walk at night because of it. A lot of people are scared, and a lot of people think the reason why this like ghost is going around is to warn kids not to go out at night and you shouldn't be walking out at night because it's dangerous, and that's why there's such a thing that actually scares people to go out at night. It's kind of weird.
Is it more of an urban legend though?
Well, apparently a lot of people, like, it's a huge part of their culture. Like, they have restaurants that are named after her.
Yeah, it sounds like an urban legend kind of thing.
Yeah, like an
where
urban
it's
legend.
like, be scared of this Huggin
Exactly.
Molly that will come and yell in your ear, and people say, "Yo, I've had this happen." But anyways, it'd be interesting if it's caught on camera somehow. That's the
thing. We don't know. It's hard to tell, but if there is such a thing, like, it's weird.
Scary. Very scary.
That's the word. Yeah. All right.
Anyways,
Well, that's what I wanted to talk about today. Hope you enjoyed it.
yeah, that was a fun episode.
Yeah.
I liked it.
We'll try to do some more episodes like this one, but not all the time.
It's all right. From time to time,
Time.
bring out the tinfoil hat.
Yeah. All right. Well, you guys can catch us on any streaming platform, YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Stitcher. Did I say Spotify?
No.
Spotify.
Yes.
Yeah, just check us out. Leave a comment on our YouTube channel. Leave us a like. Let us know if you like episodes like this. We enjoy these pretty much, so we'd like to do more of these. So catch you guys on the next one, and you could play us out now.
Yep. Bye.
Play us that scary music.